So Katie Lou Samuelson's contract is bought out, and we're going to talk about that and all the salary implications and the salary cap for the Indiana Fever. Explained fully for all of you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. So I had a live show last night. We started talking about Katie Lou Samuelson and her buyout, and they didn't know the amount of the buyout, and I wasn't 100% sure what the rules are, but I did a bunch of research this morning, and I saw other people's videos, and I read articles, and some of them were wrong, but I'm convinced that I pretty much have it 99% correct, and I'm going to break it down for everybody. And if Rob, you want to add anything, jump in whenever you want. And if you got any questions, jump in, because you may have the same question as somebody else. If I don't explain it clearly, maybe you'll catch that. Because I just got this all together this morning, and we're going to find out. So here's the bottom line. Right now, the Fever have 10 people under contract. Jaylen Brown's contract is not officially under contract because it's called a camp contract, which means she's not on the team unless she makes the team after the training camp. And she has a minimum of $66,000 approximately. Okay, so that's what you have to understand. So they still need 2 more players.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're dealing with. They have 12 players, really, but right now they got rid of Katie Lou Samuelson, so they're down to 11, and Jaylen Brown isn't officially on the team either, so they're down to 10. So what happened was, in this particular case, is that she got signed to a guaranteed contract. And as most people know, they've been following this, she gets paid no matter what. They could cut her, but they still have to pay her, and it still goes against the salary cap. I think people kind of figured that out by now if they've been following it in the news. Okay, so there is such a thing as called a buyout, where if the player and the team agree to a buyout, they can buy out their contract for an amount less than the salary, the original contract salary amount, which in this case, so we're going to go through these numbers because that's the only way to explain it. So if you don't like math, this might not be your thing, but if you want to really understand this, I'm sure I got 99% of this correct because I did a lot of research. So right now, the Fever salary cap, they're under, not over, under $42,419. That's with the 10 players, including Christy Wallace and Katie Lou Samuelson. They're under that. All right. So depending on what figure you believe, 0 to 2 year minimum is $66,079 or $78,831 if it's 3 years or more. Those are the minimum. 0 to 2 and the numbers in parentheses are different figures I got, but I'm going to go with the $66,000 and the $78,800. Katie Lou Samuelson's contract was $180,000. The buyout amount was $106,419. Now, so you can subtract that, and you'll go down here, and you'll see that, and that's $73,581. That's the amount they now save on their cap.
Okay.
So it's the salary minus the buyout amount. Now, I think Katie Lou may have to pay $5,000. If you see, that's a quote from an article. Her buyout amount, which is salary minus the veteran minimum $5,000, adhere to a CBS rule, comes out to $106,419. Don't worry about that.
So let me interrupt you, Mark. So that you're saying that the Fever has $73,000 to play with,
plus the $42,000, which is the next line.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Plus the $42,419.
Okay.
Because they had 400, they were under the salary cap before, and they just gained 73,000. So obviously now they're at 116,000.
Okay, I see.
And that's for 2 players. Again, forget about Jaylen Brown for right now. She's not officially on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for 2 players. That means they're down to 10. It's 10 players. Okay. So, because Katie Lou's off the team now. All right. So, in this particular case, the minimum is $66,000 if they sign somebody who's 0 to 2. But that might not happen. They may draft somebody. That's for sure going to be a minimum. But they may sign one that's someone who they might want to sign someone with more than 3 years experience. So I'm going to give you 2 examples because that's a likely scenario.
Uh-huh.
But even if they find a draft pick and a veteran of 2 years or less, it's still going to cost them at least 132,000, which is this number right here, 66 times 2. That would be 2 players. Say it's a rookie and a person with 1 or 2 years experience. Okay, so if that happens, they have 132,000 that they're going to need.
Okay.
And they have 116,000 underneath the salary cap. So they're $16,000 short to sign 2 players at the minimum of 0 to 2 years experience.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Is that clear?
Yeah, I understand that.
Now, if they want to sign somebody with 3 years experience and 1 player that has less than 3 years experience, that's this number up here, 66,000 plus 79,000, that would be 145,000. So if we go down here and we subtract the 116,000 they have to play with, they're $29,000 short to sign 2 players, 1 at 0 to 2 years experience and 1 of 3 years or more. Okay. So that's the dilemma they're facing. And these numbers are approximate. I rounded some things off, but it's within a couple thousand, if not. So that's the numbers they're dealing with. So what's the solution? Well, they could play with 11 players and just sign 1 player. They could sign a player up to 100, say 1 player at 100 and up to 132,000 if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to start with 11 players now, and they could do that, and then they could add a player midway through the season because the whole salary wouldn't count against them. Like a half a salary would count, and they could add a 12th player halfway through the season, and they'd be there for the playoffs. So that's one solution. But I have another solution, which nobody else has mentioned, and I did some research on this, and I researched whether or not you could do a buyout with more than 1 person on a team for 2 people. And as far as I know, you can. And then I did some research, and I said, can you have a buyout that's less the amount of the league minimum? And the answer I found was yes, because that's not the original contract amount. That's not the salary they're getting paid for playing. So in comes Christy Wallace in this idea. Christy Wallace also has a guaranteed contract. Christy Wallace signs for about 81,000. It's 80,823. Okay. So in this particular case, we could buy out Christy Wallace's contract and we could save some more money. We could buy it out for 65,000, which is down here.
Right.
See, I subtracted the 16,000 from that. So we buy out for 65,000, and lo and behold, that's the $16,000 that you're short to sign 2 people. Now, if you want to sign 1 person with more than 3 years experience and 1 person with less than 3 years experience, you're going to need more money. You're going to need 29,000, right? That's the amount we're short. So we subtract that from Christy Wallace's salary, and now you need 52,000 you're going to have to buy her out for. So you'd have to buy her out for 52,000 or 65,000, depending. These are approximate, depending on whether or not you're going to sign 2 players at the minimum of 0 to 2 years experience, or 1 at 0 to 2 and 1 at 3+.
So now with Christy Wallace, it would be probably that's a good idea, but it would be to her advantage because she's not going to be playing that much. So if you can come to, they might be doing this like we said right now, negotiating with her, saying, "Hey, we're not going to be playing that much, but we'll buy you out. We'll give you this amount, and maybe she can go back to Australia or play over in Europe and get paid there, and also get paid again, so she'll get double payment."
Right. From what I understand, if my research is correct, you get the amount of the buyout, plus if you get signed by a team, you get the amount is signed by the team, which is why Katie Lou Samuelson took this deal, because she'll get the 106,000 plus at least a minimum for 3 years experienced person, which again is 70, well, depending on which number you believe, about 78,831. So as you see, she's still going to make the 108,000. She's still going to make the 180,000 because she's going to get at least 78,000 plus the 106. Right. So it's going to come out. It's actually going to come out to more than that, right? So, but I think there's a $5,000 fee or something like that. So it's about 188,000. She's going to make the same amount of money as long as one person signs her in the WNBA. She's going to make the same amount of money and she'll get more playing time. Now with Christy Wallace, it's a little bit more complicated because she can go play in Australia if she wanted.
Right.
But she's less likely to get signed. I don't think she's as good as Katie Lou Samuelson, but I think someone could sign her. But they'd have to sign her because she has more than 3. This will be her 3rd year of experience. I think they have to sign her at the amount of 78,831. And she would get that, obviously, plus either the 65,000 or the 52,000, depending on what they buy her out for.
Mm-hmm.
But she has to get signed first. So she probably might not agree to this unless she's going to get signed either in Australia or she's convinced she's going to get signed by another team. I don't know if she's going to. I think Katie Lou's going to be, but that's because we're told that she's already spoken to 4 teams that are considering signing her. And I think Katie Lou is a better player than Christy Wallace from what I saw last year. What do you think, Rock?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, if I were her, I'd probably go that route. You know, I mean, of course you want to play, so I would probably go that route if I were her. I mean, hold up on her skills, maybe then come back in WNBA and maybe be signed by a team. But I mean, the bottom line, I guess, with the player, you want more playing time. So, I mean, to sit on a bench and then come in for a minute or two, that doesn't really. I don't think that really.
Right. I don't think Katie Lou was going to get. She was going to get more than Christy Wallace, but she wasn't getting a lot of playing time either because they got Sophie Cunningham, which is kind of like her same position. And they also picked up Dewana Bonner. They got Lexi Hall, all who can play small forward, which is kind of like the best position. So I think she knew she wasn't getting playing time. And so this is a good deal for her. She's going to get the same amount of money and more playing time, probably, but not much of a chance at championship unless she gets signed on by one of the top 3 or 4 teams. So that's the disadvantage. I think she'll have less of a chance of a championship. She probably won't get signed by a championship team. She'll probably get signed by an intermediate or weaker team. That's my guess. So this is what they're dealing with right now. And that's why there's all this talk about salary cap and everything else and whether they have enough players. And so right now, what's going to happen is they have 10 players and they don't have a first round draft pick, as everybody knows. That was part of the trade for Sophie Cunningham. They gave that away. But they do have a 19th and 20th pick in the draft, which is in the 2nd round. And some people think they need a backup 3rd center. I'm not convinced they do. So my feeling is this is what's going to happen if they can do a buyout with Christy Wallace. They will have Jaylen Brown in the camp. They'll have some rookie in the camp, such as, I don't know, either Lucy Olsen, if she's available, or Haley Van Lith. They're going to have one small they're going to draft, and then they're going to draft a big like Sedona Prince if she's still there, available at the 19th or 20th spot. I'm not sure she's going to be, but maybe there's some other person that I don't know that's going to be available in the 19th or 20th spot. That'll give them their backup emergency center, and that'll give them the 12th person, which is going to be some kind of guard.
Right.
And I think those 3 people, the 2 people they draft, and Jaylen Brown, or someone else that they sign at a minimum that's still available as a free agent right now, either in the U.S. or over in Europe, if they can do that. Those are also possibilities to fight for those last 2 spots. But it looks like there's going to be Jaylen Brown is fighting for a spot on the team right now with some draft picks and possibly a free agent. But there's two spots left. If they decide to go with 12 people and they can get more money underneath the cap by doing a buyout with Christy Wallace. Otherwise, they're going to have 11 people, unless something else changes between now and then that is unforeseen or that, whatever. Some people sometimes, like you've seen Tom Brady renegotiate his quarterback contract and put it forward. He took a cut in pay or they put it to another year. I guess they could do something like that. I don't know all the rules in the WNBA.
Right.
But if they did that, they could make some more room underneath the salary cap. I'm sure they're working on this, and I'm sure that, they have more information than we do, but they know what their problem is right now. And that's why they did the buyout with Katie Lou Samuelson. Is that clear to at least, Rob, to you? Is that clear?
Yeah, I mean, I understand. That's why I was asking those little questions there. Okay. So they have that kind of a space where they can, they can actually, like I said, I mean, a key thing actually is kind of with Wallace, but if I were her, I would take that deal of being bought out and
as
And
far as I know, that's a possibility from the research I did. So like I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty
yeah,
close to that from what I saw.
right.
And
Uh-huh.
it might be negotiated right now as we're speaking. They might be talking to her and her agent.
Hmm.
But so that explains the amount that Katie Lou decided to have the buyout for. So she basically knew she would still get the same amount that she was supposed to make this year. So she goes, "Why not? I make the same amount of money. I get more playing time." I
Yep.
took the contract. That's why the amount that their 106,000 there was in there.
Smart deal there.
And I think it'd be smart for Christy Wallace too, because I think she could make money over in Australia or in Europe and still get the whatever the 50,000 or the 65,000 that the Fever are going to pay her, and she'll get more playing time.
Right.
And she's still fairly young, so she could become better. But I'm flabbergasted that she started last year for half a season. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. She never
Yeah.
looked a good player.
This year she won't get that much play this year. Definitely with the free agents.
She didn't get much playing time on the Australian Olympic team. So it's not just what the Fever fans think about her play. The Australia national team didn't think that much about her play.
Yeah.
She made the team, but she didn't get much playing time. And they weren't even that good a team.
Right.
So, anyways, and I don't know.
So we'll see what happens. The Fever is still making moves, and it's kind of like we said before in other videos. It's kind of exciting. Can't wait till the season starts, and we'll see how they play.
I think this organization, this administration that they have in place now, is way better than Lynn Dunn, and I think that's going to be the key to the success of the Fever. And it was really a great move to get rid of Lynn Dunn and Christy Sides. And I think this they got a team, Rob. They got a team that should be the favorites for the title, I think.
Yeah, they want to get back to where they were before. I mean, the Fever's had the down year, so they want to get it back. They already got the fans already locked in. Now just got to get the team going. That'll just really keep it successful for years to come.
Right. So this is, as far as I can tell, the approximate numbers that the Fever are dealing with, and the rules that I understand them is what they can do and can't do and what they might do in the future. It's not, none of this is for sure. It's something could change tomorrow, of course, with what they did. They could sign a free agent tomorrow, something changes. Because all the free agents aren't signed. If you don't understand something or you think this is wrong, feel free to make a constructive criticism down below, and I will respond to that. But this is the information I have right now from the internet, from doing Google searches and ChatGPT and articles that I read. So if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make Rob happy and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And join us for our live show. We'll discuss this again, unless something changes drastically, on Monday, 6 to 8 Eastern time, except for major holidays. And make sure if you want to donate to this channel, there's super chats and super things down below, and there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.